You don't even know how this person act when they're angry. You don't know how they act when they lose money, when they don't have money, when they're dealing with grief. We just know, like I knew, oh, he's a good provider. I can't tell you how he acted if he lost a family member or if he doesn't get his way or things like that. I just know he provides good.
Hello and welcome back to Cocoa Pods podcast. My name is Dr. Bola Sogade. I'm a women's health specialist and I'm your host. We've been talking with Lillian, that's her pseudonym, and she's been sharing her life experiences, her marital experiences, the difficulties that she's gone through, and the triumphs that she's had, the triumphs that they have had as a couple. So we continue in these conversations about difficult relationships. In our upcoming episodes, Lillian's husband will be sharing his own lived experience with marital conflicts, triumphs and tribulations and successes. So please keep listening to Cocoa Pods podcast. Thank you. Lillian, I just want to thank you so very much for coming to Cocoa Pods podcast. You're going to be helping a lot of women by sharing your lived experience and just being honest, truthful, telling us everything. I want you to, number one, just if you can give me a summary of your life, your married life as of now. And what can women that are either going through a difficult relationship, whether well married or not, but mostly if they are married, going through a difficult relationship at the verge of separation or divorce, and or wanting to fight for this relationship, and with and without children, what advice in summary would you give them? So first of all, please summarize your relationship issues so far and advice to our listeners.
My relationship issues so far is that we are at a great place. We learned how to talk to each other respectfully. We learned how to have timeouts, as we call it. It's just we do check-ins.
How often do you do the check-in?
We do that every night before bed. Check in. Hey, how are you doing? Is anything like, let's talk. And then we just talk about our day. We just talk about and we give each other affirmations. And we just like, I like when you did that today. I really appreciate you for helping me out today. We make sure we encourage each other daily. We make sure we show more love and affection than ever. And we also just spend time with each other at a place that, Fridays is both of our days off. So we make that a date night. Date night is important because I'm not the same person I was 3 months ago, 3 years ago. He's surely not the same man. So we have to get to know the new us, as we say. We date. Dating is always necessary. And we just date each other now. Because back then we weren't dating each other. I was too hateful, mean, holding on to grudges, and he was out in the streets. So we didn't date. So now we date each other and we getting to know each other. What he likes, what he don't like, and he gets to know me personally. It's like up close and personal. Something that we should have checked off the box before we got married. 'Cause so many people rush into marriage now without checking out the box. You don't even know how this person act when they're angry. You don't know how they act when they lose money, when they don't have money, when they're dealing with grief. We just know, like I knew, oh, he's a good provider. I can't tell you how he acted if he lost a family member or if he doesn't get his way or things like that. I just know he provides good. So I didn't check my box off. So now we're taking a step back and just learning to appreciate, respect, and love each other like we both deserve to be loved. And also we pray more together and with the boys, but more together. So in a constant fight and battle. And even if we get in these spats when we argue with stuff, we never go to bed angry. So what we do is we talk about it like, I need time. I'm angry at you right now. I need time. I didn't like what you do. I need time before we go to bed. We're going to talk about this. We're not going to go a day without talking because to me, not talking build up stuff. builds on top of each other because you want to talk about. Now I forgot to talk about that last week. You did this a week before. Now it's stuff built on top of each other. So it don't happen all the time, but when we do have that time, we'll talk and we have those talks. I didn't like the way you did that. Well, I was angry at you because you did this, and we always apologize. I didn't know that makes you feel that way. I also want to encourage counseling to people. My mother age group, they didn't believe in counseling. They believed Jesus was the counselor. I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying that outside counseling is needed. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to also pray to Jesus and go to counseling at the same time, because that's what God appointed them for. That's what he gave them that gift for. Go to a Christian counseling. I would advise go to somebody that's been through something also. Don't go to anyone that doesn't know about marriage, that doesn't know about nothing. Just go to someone that can also give you the tools and also can encourage you to say, hey, you can overcome this. It's going to be okay. Counseling is needed. Also, kids that are listening, go to counseling. Parents, take the kids to counseling, because I grew up in this toxicity household and I saw mom and dad argue all day, and I thought it was normal to do that when I got married, and I did that in front of my kids. And as a kid, I needed counseling because I carry what I saw onto my marriage and look in there as the result. And now I have my kids seeing the same thing. So counseling is needed for the kids. And arguing. No, sometimes we can't help but to argue. Sometimes it comes out, but we have to learn how to control our thoughts and tongue, and control our behavior and control our temper. We are grown folks having temper tantrum because we don't like our way or someone did something to us. It's okay to hold it in and say, I will talk to you later, not in front of the kids or whatever, because they don't need to see that, because they will mimic what they see. And unfortunately, I did that. I mimicked what I saw, and I thought that's how marriage is supposed to have been. But counseling is needed. Go to counseling. If you don't want to go together, if your spouse don't want to go with you, go by yourself, because you will find out things about yourself. You was like, oh, I didn't even know this about me. Oh, I didn't know I'm this way. I found out in counseling I was a manipulator. I found out I hold grudges, and I didn't know. But then I went to speak to my mother about this, and she said, oh, yeah, I do that too. Didn't know, not because that's what I saw. I grew up on what I saw. I wanted the ideal Huxtable family. My ideal marriage was the Huxtables family. Not what I saw growing up, but I infiltrated and put that out on my kids, what I saw. And in reality, they saw the damage that was done to me and their boys. And that's not good, because they can grow up men seeing that toxicity, spewing on their wives or whoever, girlfriends and things like that. So counseling is needed. Listen to each other. Always listen. Communicate. Fight. And I would never stop saying fight. Fight for each other. Fight daily for each other. No, marriage don't supposed to be hard, but sometimes it is hard when you're dealing with a difficult person. Marriage is not as hard as people think it is. It's a constant fight. But if you're dealing with a stubborn, difficult person, and don't forget, if you're, love God and you believe in God, we're not dealing with this person. We're dealing with spirits that's passed down from generation to generation, that's been in them, that, stubbornness and all this, ego, the ego or whatever, men supposed to do this and women. These are stuff that, we're battling with, and you think like, this is so hard and they won't give in. Keep praying, keep fighting. And if it don't work for you, don't work for you, but it works for some people. And if the fight is in you, keep fighting the good fight, and let it be well with your soul.
Wow. One thing you talked about, gosh, I'm choking because you're just touching on so many things. You talked about something to the effect that if you're a Christian, that this is not just that person, that there's a spiritual underlay.
Yeah. It's a spiritual battle they're fighting because we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. We're wrestling against principalities. So you got to understand these are spirits that we're fighting. My husband looked at me that the entities was in my house, and I'm a Christian now, but I didn't believe my eyes what I was believing. And for him to say, "Oh, they coming off of me," I believed him. And in those dreams that I was having, those entities in my dreams that was telling me I cannot have my husband, I have him. This was the enemy. This is the devil telling me this because I woke up breathing. I will wake up grabbing, holding the Bible. I wouldn't even wipe the crust out of my eyes because I was so much in prayer for my husband, because when those dreams started coming, God said, all I heard was pray. And I was like, God, I want to pray for him. What do you mean pray for this man? This man, this man, and da-da-da-da. And all I heard was pray. So I started praying. So every night I used to send him text messages. I forgive you. Even I did not forgive that man. But it started with just saying, I forgive you. And by me keep saying, I forgive him, it started making me believe like, maybe I really do forgive him. Maybe I can forgive him, But I started doing that every night. He never responded to no text messages. He never responded, and those dreams kept coming. They kept coming. So that's how I know, and I'm a true believer, that I was not battling my husband. I was battling spirits. And remember I told you about the dreams about the snakes and everything. It was so many of them. And my husband was in so many activities that I didn't even know he was in. And how do you not know that's your husband? Because I was a homebody. I was naive. I was tending to the kids. I trust him. Even if I knew the truth, I still trusted him because I was so naive and I was young and I didn't keep up with him. I was the homegirl. He was the club person. So I trusted him. And yeah, I was battling spirits. And I remember when I reminded him of stuff he used to say, he said, I didn't say that. I was like, yes, you did. You're lying to me. He said, I don't remember telling you that. And they don't remember sometimes. You be like, oh, they're lying. No, they don't remember because that's not really them. That's really not really them. My husband came to me, as crazy as it sounds now. He said he was laying in the bed with the other woman. And he said, and this is when we got to a good place. We can just talk about what he was doing. He said he was laying in bed with the other woman. He remembered dozing off into a sleep. And he remembered someone was in the car. It looks like a familiar face. And he said, but the familiar face told him, I got you right where you want to be. This is where you want to be. And you're not going nowhere. And he said he knew then it was the enemy. And he had to leave. And I was like, you're looking at him crazy. He said, I knew then. He said, and if I didn't believe in God that day, I believed that day. He said, because why would I have a dream like that than someone tell me, I got you where you wanted to be. This is where you wanted to be. He said, that's when I had to make a change in my life. Like, what am I doing? I need to go back home. He said, but it was a fight, a struggle to come back because of the soul tie. Of course, when you have intimacy, that's why God don't allow us to have sex before marriage. Because we get, those intimacies into someone. You're getting, you're swapping all that stuff, that fluid and all that. That's intimacy. That's all that stuff that God didn't want us to do before we get married, because this is the consequences, the soul ties and all that. But yeah, you're fighting enemies. You're fighting spirits. And I had to, me and him, realize early on that the true enemy was the devil. First of all, it was ourselves. So once we acknowledge and took accountability, we also acknowledge that, okay, now we're fighting a spirit. And now we're fighting a spirit of lust. Now we're fighting a spirit of selfishness. And now what can we do to overcome that? And once my husband said he realized that, and the first step is for recognition. This is what it is. And once you recognize it, the second step is what you're going to do for it. Take accountability, of course, but what are you going to do to make these steps effective that it will never happen again? And he was taking those proper steps. And once he started taking those proper steps, I started taking those proper steps as learning how to be his wife and just forgiving myself on my part. Mm-hmm.
This spirit thing that you talked about, I see a lot of women every day. Mm-hmm. And I remember 2 recounts. Number one, a woman told me that, she wasn't fighting with her husband, but he had called and he was angry, and the voice sounded like
It's different.
it was different, like a devil's voice. And it was something like, I think they were going out of town together, and he was like, something like, I called your phone, you didn't pick up. What are you doing to me? I'm so mad. And she was like, what? That is not my husband.
That's not my husband.
And that that voice sounded so angry, and they were not fighting when they left the house. And the other woman told me that there was a time they were both on the bed, and the husband they were both asleep, and the husband woke up from sleep and grabbed her and pressed on her eyes with his thumbs and pressed down. And she jumped up like, what is going on? What is going on? And he was like, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? And I mean, I found that so strange.
It's real. It's real. I remember when my husband came back to the house, and we was sleeping in the bed, and I heard knocking at the windows, and I jumped up and I said, oh, somebody, you didn't got the people at my house? And I look at the cameras, there was no one there. Loud, it was banging, boom, 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 boom. And we both jumped up, and we looking at the cameras. No one was on the cameras. I remember when we was laying in the bed and we started praying together, he used to like turn, and like he's just hurting him when I was praying with him, and he'll fall asleep every time we pray together. He did that for a couple months. And I remember just like looking at him like, you're so, oh my God, but it wasn't him. It was the spirits making him sleepy. They didn't want him to hear the word. They was, blocking his ears so he can receive what God is trying to say to him. And he, and so once he started to fight back, he started to recognize it. And that's when he overcame that.
Now, let's take a quick break here before we go back to Lillian. She mentioned soul ties. Now let's talk about soul ties. Soul ties represent deep spiritual bonds formed with another individual that go beyond the usual closeness found in relationships. They evoke intense feelings of attachment, making it difficult to envision life without that person. The formation of soul ties is a process that occurs spontaneously and unpredictably. It represents the emergence of an intense bond between two individuals. This connection may arise instantly upon their initial encounter or develop gradually over time. Crucially, for a soul tie to materialize, both individuals must mutually sense the profound significance of their relationship. While soul ties and twin flames are frequently conflated, they actually represent distinct kinds of connections. A soul tie denotes a profound and intimate bond that can occur multiple times throughout one's life. Conversely, a twin flame signifies an exceptionally intense relationship, often thought to be orchestrated by a higher power as the complementary half of an individual's soul. In other words, a twin flame connection is often described as a deep soul-level relationship where both individuals feel an instant and profound sense of recognition and belonging with each other. It's like finding your other half or your perfect match. This connection is believed to be incredibly intense and can involve strong emotions, spiritual growth, and personal transformation. Twin flames are thought to complement each other in a unique way and often have a powerful impact on each other's lives. So what are the different kinds of soul ties? Each soul tie is unique, reflecting the individual nature of connections between people. Some categorize soul ties based on distinctive traits and relationship dynamics. These ties can span from romantic to platonic, extending among family members or unrelated individuals, and can vary widely in their healthiness and stability. The 4 categories of soul ties. Physical, number 1. These ties involve a physical connection, often characterized by sexual chemistry. Number 2, emotional. Emotional ties signify strong feelings of closeness and attachment. Number 3, mental. Mental ties are rooted in shared interests, intellectual pursuits, and a profound sense of kinship. Number 4, spiritual. Spiritual ties are linked to mutual religious or spiritual beliefs, fostering a deeper connection on a spiritual level. How do soul ties form? Soul ties can emerge suddenly or gradually, representing the manifestation of a profound bond between two individuals. This connection may develop immediately upon meeting or evolve over time. So both parties must feel the depth of the relationship for a soul tie to form. Identifying a soul tie involves recognizing its distinctiveness from other relationships. That is, this relationship is distinctly different from the others. When you encounter a soul tie, you often feel an intense connection and understanding, as if you've been waiting for this person your whole life. There's a profound desire to learn more about them, accompanied by an urgency. Indications of a healthy soul tie encompass feeling energized after spending time together and experiencing a deep sense of security in their presence. You may also find yourself wanting to open up and be vulnerable around them, feeling protective of their well-being and being your authentic self around them. Mutual empathy, respect, and a desire to nurture the relationship further characterize a healthy soul tie. On the other hand, signs of an unhealthy soul tie may include experiencing separation anxiety when apart, jealousy towards their other relationships, or relying solely on them for emotional support. Other indicators may involve excessively monitoring their activities, feeling drained or judged after interactions, and sacrificing personal interests or connections for the sake of the relationship. Unhealthy soul ties resembling codependent or abusive relationships often involve a disproportionate level of emotional attachment and dependency. In such cases, individuals may feel emotionally trapped, finding it challenging to break free from the bond despite recognizing its detrimental effects. This sense of entrapment can breed feelings of resentment towards the other person or oneself for being unable to disengage from the unhealthy connection. Moreover, staying in such dynamics can inflict significant distress on one's emotional well-being. Individuals may experience heightened levels of anxiety, depression, or even trauma symptoms due to the toxic nature of the relationship. These emotional challenges can spill over into other areas of life, impacting personal relationships, work or academic performance, and overall satisfaction with life. Furthermore, unhealthy soul ties can impede one's ability to engage in self-care practices effectively. Individuals may neglect their own needs, prioritize the needs of the other person above their own, or even engage in self-destructive behaviors to maintain the connection. This neglect of self-care can make emotional distress worse and hinder the individual's ability to cope with the challenges posed by the unhealthy relationship. Overall, recognizing and addressing the dangers of unhealthy soul ties is crucial for safeguarding one's emotional well-being and promoting healthier relationships and lifestyles. This may involve seeking support from trusted friends, family members, or mental health professionals to navigate the process of disentanglement and prioritize self-care and personal growth. And as our guest was talking about, in a biblical context, soul ties are often interpreted as deep spiritual connections formed between individuals, rooted in shared beliefs, values, and experiences. While the term quote unquote soul tie itself is not explicitly mentioned in the Bible, some believers draw parallels to biblical principles regarding relationships, particularly in the context of marriage, family, and spiritual kinship. Many Christians view soul ties as reflective of the interconnectedness of souls, emphasizing the spiritual bond between individuals that goes beyond physical or emotional connections. This perspective is often influenced by passages in the Bible that speak of unity, such as in Genesis 2, verse 24, which describes the union between husband and wife as becoming one flesh, quote unquote. Additionally, some biblical scholars and Christian teachings caution against forming unhealthy soul ties, particularly those rooted in immoral or idolatrous behavior. This perspective draws from biblical admonitions against sexual immorality, as in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 16 to 18. And it warns believers against becoming unequally yoked with unbelievers. And that is in 2 Corinthians 6:14. Overall, the biblical spiritual connotation of soul ties underscores the importance of cultivating healthy, God-honoring relationships characterized by mutual love, respect, and spiritual alignment. It encourages believers to prioritize spiritual discernment and seek guidance from the scripture and prayer in navigating their relationships and connections with others. Yeah, so thank you so much for talking about therapy.
Yeah.
And I know, in your mother's, because about how old is your mom?
Mom is 58.
Yeah, I guess in her time, therapy was not a thing as much as it is now.
No.
So number one, do Black people go for therapy a lot?
Yeah. So, when growing up in what I grew up in my community, Black people did not believe in therapy. Therapy was Jesus. And that's just Black. And if we have our other sisters out there, there's other colors and cultures. That's just in our culture. And I'm quite sure you probably experience in your culture as well. But in our ethnic group, that was not a thing. We always hush hush, or you don't want nobody in your business. Jesus gonna make it work. You're not praying hard enough. You're depressed. Go wash dishes. Go clean your house. This is just things that happen. And that systematic thing that we used to, embarked on, got depressed on and pressed down into us and passed down from generation. It is not true. Go to therapy, because younger people now in their 20s, 18s, 30 and younger are in therapy because of mothers in their 58, and 60, and what they pass down onto their children, because that's what their mother passed down onto them. And now you see a bunch of younger kids in therapy because of this traumatized situation happened, or what their mother should have went to therapy for. However, they saw what they saw, So therapy is a must. Please, Black people, go to therapy. Don't dismiss therapy. Go to therapy. Go to, your girlfriends is okay, but go to someone that's professional. They can give you tools. It's okay. They don't want to know your business. They want to help you. They want to guide you. They want to give you the tools to help you in life. So please go. Don't be scared. If you have the money, go. And there's resources out there. Find the resource. Go to therapy. And if you're married, you don't want to go together, go for yourself. And if you can go together, go together. But I also recommend go for yourself, because sometimes you don't want to discuss the things in your marriage together. And sometimes it's you need to be worked on, because we don't want to blame ourselves or take accountability. But it starts with you. Work on yourself first and then work on the marriage.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much for having us. And I will want to bring my husband back next time so he can tell his side of the story. So men out there as well as women, hear these things coming from a man of why and the reasons, or what do they think. And it's so much clearer if you want to hear it from a man perspective of why they do the things they do, because I know we all have those same sort of like why, and women, it's not you. Don't blame yourself. Don't say, oh, it's me. It's not you. If you do not want to stay in a broken relationship, it could be a job, a marriage, a friendship, whatever it is, go. I'm not encouraging nobody to stay. But if you got some fight in you, and I'm saying the fight as in both of you guys are fighting, not just one person. Both of you guys are fighting. Both of you guys are praying, because like I said, it's not that person, it's the enemy. And if you both can come together, because God said when two become together, he will be in the midst. Let God be in the midst, because both of y'all are fighting. Now, guess what? God has to step in, and the victory will be won, and it is all well, and it will be well with you guys' souls. So keep fighting and let you both fight together. And in the end, the battle is already won.
Lillian, thank you so very much for coming to Cocoa Pods podcast. We're going to find a way to have you again. Thank you for encouraging women, children, families, and, thank God that your marriage, your relationship is on this. I mean, I look at you, you're a beautiful woman, and
thank you. You are too.
Thank you. And this is just a success story.
Yes.
And I know you guys keep fighting to work at it. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you.